All right. Okay, we're live again with Kelly from the USA. Um, and your goal that you want to work on two things, two habits you want to build, right? So,
Yes.
walk 10,000 steps a day and work out for a half hour, 3 days a week. Okay,
Yes.
well, first off, do you have a pedometer for the walking goal?
I have one somewhere. I have to make sure the battery is working and then I
Mm-hmm.
have the app uploaded.
Okay. I mean, I think there might be apps that do that with your phone too, just by
Well, that's
using the
true.
GPS and estimating number of steps.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I don't have one, but I assume they exist because it seems like they should. Um,
Mhm.
but 10,000 steps a day is, let me think, that's something like 2 or 3 miles.
Mhm.
And then the the workout goal. I mean, do you have a specific style of exercise in mind? Weightlifting, Pilates,
What
anything?
what I really like are kettlebells.
Hmm.
In the town where I live, it's a little bit hard to find somebody that's actually certified to teach how to use them, and I'm a little worried about getting injured. So,
Yeah.
in the other, in the alternative, I do like weight training.
Hmm. Yeah, kettlebells can be great, but I mean, you're right. Anything high speed can be tough, and particularly with kettlebells, there are some where you're swinging them really high, or what's the one where you lift them up like this? Is that the snatch?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
something like
can.
that.
I mean, lower weight is all right, but that higher weight, you're putting yourself at risk of shoulder injury, so you need to get the form right.
Hmm.
I would say do those only if you have a good coach.
Okay.
Now, kettlebell swings, I think, are all right as long as you don't push yourself too hard on the weight and don't take it higher than horizontal.
Okay.
And you can look up some form videos on YouTube. I've done those, but a lot of the high speed one armed kettlebell motions, yeah, those I'm not so sure about. But anyway, so the important thing from your standpoint though is building the habit of working out for a half hour and not so much
Yes.
the right style of workout, right? I mean, it's
Right.
this is a habit building thing. Okay,
Right.
great. So I guess my first question then about the walking is, oh, I guess wait, I should back this up. You said you quit sugar 5 months ago, right?
Yeah,
And
I did.
no trouble maintaining that.
Not not so far. The more that I read about it, the more I think everybody's definition of quitting sugar kind of varies a little bit.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I try to avoid fructose and
Hmm.
refined sugar. I
Hmm.
know I get a little bit of that in if I eat out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't like completely eliminated hamburger buns and uh, mayonnaise and stuff like that, but I have taken out all baked goods and all candy and all the stuff that
Yeah.
I found myself always having after every single meal and just feeling yucky afterwards.
Yeah. So you've cut
And it's
out
been
80 to
really,
90% of it then, right?
yeah, I think so. I think it's fair to say that much. Over the holidays, I did bake with
Hmm.
some sugar substitutes like
Hmm.
stevia and the powdered dextrose that you can get in health
Yeah.
food stores. And so now that I'm trying to get back on the bandwagon, I've had more cravings, but I'm
Hmm.
still cold and strong. I have, my 365-day goal in the front of my
Yeah.
mind, and I'm working towards it and doing pretty
Okay.
well for
That's really
me.
good. Okay, so you've substituted sugar substitutes in some of your baking, and then overall just substituted healthier foods for sugary ones, right?
Right.
That's good.
Just eliminated the dessert type stuff that I was eating so often, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, just trying to eat in more where I have more control over what goes
Yeah.
in the food.
Okay, that's really good. So I guess so. Back to your goals you're working on now. My first question about the walking goal would be: do you live in a walkable neighborhood? Is it a suburban place where you got to drive everywhere?
Um, it's pretty walkable. It's pretty walkable,
Like,
I would say.
like you can walk out to eat to a grocery store or
I can reach a grocery store on foot,
yeah.
and there's a couple restaurants close by. Um, when I do leave the house, I work a lot from home, but when I'm outside of the home working, uh, those are destinations that I can't really reach on foot.
Mm-hmm.
So semi. There's I could feasibly walk to the gym. There's a gym within walking distance of my house, so there's that.
Okay.
And I do have a treadmill in the basement that we rigged to have a little desk on it I can walk slowly on.
Yeah. That was going to be my next thing is, you can work standing up or something like that. A treadmill desk, I've never tried. I have no idea how easy it is to work while walking on one, but working standing up is great. But, what I would do if you want to walk 10,000 steps a day is translate that into, specific, journeys that you're going to commit to doing on foot. Like I will always walk to the gym or to the grocery store unless I need to get a ton of stuff or, have specific places that you'll commit to walking to, I guess weather permitting. And it'll take a little experimentation to see what adds up to 10,000 feet. So I obviously can't say, do this and that adds up to so many feet, but that is the way to do it, is to commit to break that 10,000 steps down into, I know I have to go here this often, and if I always walk, it's going to be this many steps. And then I guess I would get a pedometer because a GPS thing on your phone is not going to really capture you just walking around the home. Probably it won't have that level of accuracy now that I think about it. Probably more of a thing for runners. Yeah, I guess, the other thing where you live is the weather doesn't always make it easy to walk outside the home, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the other thing to consider then is if you have the treadmill as a backup, how much time does 10,000 steps take? Do you know that?
Not exactly, but I could find out.
Yeah.
I could find out.
Yeah. So, I guess the last thing I would say is block off time in your evenings to use the treadmill for however long you need to hit that 10,000 step goal for each day.
Okay.
Try to do it walking around town. And if you haven't hit that at the end of the day, it'll depend on your schedule. It'll depend on the weather. Then you use the treadmill sometime in the evening to catch up. And if you're doing that a few hours before bed, I wouldn't want to do that right before bed. Might keep you up, but a few hours before bed probably help you sleep. Spending more time on your feet overall is it makes it easier to sleep, I found. Okay. And then the gym habit. Have you been in the habit of going to the gym before? Is that new to you?
I have never really made it a real habit. The best I did was I took your advice from your blog at one point, and I did have a personal trainer for a span of time.
Yeah.
That was really helpful, and so I'm thinking of trying to get back to that if I can swing the money.
Yeah.
Another time that I was successful for a longer chunk of time was I had sort of a goal, my sister's wedding, and I wanted to look good for it. So for 4, 5, 6 months before that, I was pretty faithful. But then as soon as it was over, I'm done.
So you went to the gym because you were going to go to a wedding and you wanted to look good. Okay, and that's a very common motivational tactic, is having a deadline you have to be ready for, whether it's an aesthetic one like that or, one piece of advice I've heard from a lot of people is sign up for an amateur weightlifting competition so you have a deadline on your progress. So if you can ever come up with something like that you want to motivate yourself for, that will, I would say look for an event a few months in the future to commit yourself to, and that you would be motivated to look good for, because you know that works for you. And then as that event starts to approach, look for another one a few months after it. So you've always got another one. But
Okay.
I mean, if your motivation here is to look good for your social life, great. That's most people's motivation, and good to be honest about it, because then you know how to motivate yourself. A lot of people, I think, try to pretend it's about health, but
Yeah.
hey, you just want to look good. That's fine. That's. I don't work on my shoulders because I need them to be healthy. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is you can put it in your schedule, make that consistent if you need to. Maybe you don't need to. Well, if you haven't been in the habit before, I would say you need to.
Okay.
If you work from home with a fairly flexible schedule,
Yes.
this ends up not being very challenging once you enjoy going to the gym, in my experience. But to begin with, I would specifically schedule those times, have them blocked off on your calendar, including travel time, and commit yourself literally just to going to the gym and not even necessarily to doing a rigorous workout. I mean, commit yourself to go to the gym, pick up some weights, enjoy yourself, and as time goes on, the habit will build. But priority number 1 and 2 is getting in the habit of going there and making sure you enjoy yourself. And whether that means sitting in the jacuzzi after your workout, or maybe trying some weird machines you've never tried before. But I would say early on, prioritize that over doing the perfect workout. Just let yourself find something you enjoy. And also, have you ever tried any group classes? Do you know if that appeals to you, or?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, you could sign up for one of those and see if you like it. It's I guess a love it or hate it kind of thing. May or may not be your thing, but if it is, then that becomes another easy way to build the habit, because you have a specific time that you've committed to someone else, and it's it ends up being something you enjoy. And do you have any particular results goals, like gain muscle, lose weight, gain strength, or just build the habit?
I would like to gain muscle.
Yeah.
And gain strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you can pick a fitness class that's oriented a little more towards those. Most of them are a little more cardio oriented. I think mainly because of space considerations. But I know some of them at least are more, I don't think fitness classes are ever really heavy weight training, but some of them do involve body weight movements that would help with that. And you can mix and match. Maybe do a fitness class once a week and go to the gym on your own twice a week. And does your gym have, by the way, like a jacuzzi, sauna, anything like that?
Yeah, it does.
So if you can schedule this at a time, maybe at the end of your day when you have time to work out and kind of just relax, do the jacuzzi afterward. If you enjoy that, that's going to give you something to look forward to and more of a reason to go to the gym.
Okay.
But again, it's just make sure you've blocked off the time and you're enjoying yourself while you're there.
Okay. Time and enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, is a goal of 30 minutes of more vigorous exercise 3 days a week beneficial, or do I need even more than that?
That's a great starting point. It's a great starting point. And, from there are 2 ways you can progress, because you can raise the volume. You can make your workouts longer or more frequent. But the other thing you could do is raise your workout density and just do more work in the same time. So you can,
I like that.
You can take shorter rests. You can alternate body parts. So you could do a set of a leg exercise and then a set of, chest. You could do like alternate squats and push-ups so that you can take shorter rests while still giving the individual body part long enough to rest. So there are ways to do that make the exercise or make the workout tough, but allow you to cram more work into the same amount of time. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's good for people who are pressed for time. And it's also good from a hormonal standpoint. Your body will
Okay.
produce more growth hormone. It'll get your heart rate up and keep it up for a half hour. So you have many options for progressing. Heavier weight, greater frequency, longer workouts, denser workouts.
Okay.
But 30 minutes of anything decent 3 days a week is about what I would use as a starting point for most people. And as long as you're not completely screwing around, that is enough to get you in above average shape.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. And I would
That's
say
good.
to begin with, make all of those workouts full body, where
Okay.
you're working all of your major muscle groups with all three of those workouts.
Okay.
And over time, you will probably want to transition to a split body routine, particularly
Okay.
if you raise the frequency
Uh-huh.
or the intensity. But to begin with, with a frequency of 3 days a week, and you probably won't be doing super high intensity to start with. Make it full body, so every part of your body is just getting some work 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and that will, it'll be good from a metabolic standpoint, and it'll also keep the muscles stimulated to grow, particularly the slower twitch fibers that recover faster. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other thing I would say is, safety first. Some movements are a bit more dangerous than others, and with those, err on the side of using lighter weights and focusing on good form. And at some point, if you want to hire a trainer, I think one of the things you want to do with the trainer is have them make sure you have really good form with any kind of free weight exercise where you might be worried about your safety. Like squat, deadlift, any of the kettlebell stuff, because that I think is the biggest thing a trainer can help you with, because they're right there to correct you on the spot. Um,
Focus on form.
yeah. But to begin with, I wouldn't worry too much about the style of workout beyond just making sure you're doing something safe and not go
Okay.
crazy, swing a kettlebell around like a lasso or whatever people
Right.
are doing. But in the beginning, try some of everything, do what you enjoy, get in the habit
Okay.
of being there. And once the habit of going to the gym is more or less effortless, that's when you start to think about how can I make my workouts more effective, and
Mm-hmm.
and move your focus beyond just how can I have as much fun at the gym as possible so I always want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But
How long, in your experience, does it take people to move from, okay, I'm trying to figure out this habit, to, okay, this is now my habit?
it varies a lot. Some people never get there. That's usually because they're just not committed in the first place. For you, it might be a month or two. It's hard to say. I mean, based on your past experience, it sounds like you can probably get there pretty quickly if you just know how to motivate yourself. If you A, make sure you're having fun, and B, have some kind of, set yourself a deadline like you had before with your friend's wedding, I
Mm-hmm.
think you'll get there pretty quickly. Um,
Okay.
and the other thing I would say is record your workouts, meaning not on video, but write down what you did, amount of
Hmm.
weight lifted, number of repetitions. And there are fitness apps you can use for that, like what are they? Strong, JFit, bodybuilding.com app, a lot of them. But get a sense of your progress so you can see, I'm stronger now than I was a week ago, and having that sense of progression too is a big motivator for people, and it's a motivator that will grow on you with time, because it often you don't care about it at first, and then as the weeks go by and you see your progress, then that becomes more and more of a motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and
Cool.
the other thing is just you know keep track of what motivates you and what doesn't. What do you care about and what doesn't?
Okay.
Do you care about are you constantly thinking, I've got to look good for this event? Are you thinking, it feels good that I made this progress? Are you thinking, I'm looking forward to the jacuzzi? But find out what works for you and really double down on that, because it can also be a very individual thing. And so there is a certain amount of self-experimentation and, just seeing what you care about and what motivates you.
Okay. What do you have any advice for, I'm looking over the next 4 months
Yeah.
coming at me here, and there are a couple times that I'll be on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do to stay on track when you're on the road, especially with the 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week goal?
Yeah. Have a body weight workout that's your backup for when you're on the road, something you can do in a hotel.
Okay.
I think I have a few of those on my site. But just do circuits of push-ups, lunges, squats, planks. Just do 5 or 6 circuits of 5 or 6 exercises, and that ends up being 20 to 30 minutes. If it's not quite 30 minutes, do that, and then go out and do some walking.
Okay.
But when you're on the road, the body weight workouts probably won't be too much of a challenge unless you just don't enjoy doing them. I mean, you will be limited in your options about how to work out. But the walking is the big thing I'd be a little more concerned about when you're on the road. That's
true.
You might find yourself not having time for it or just needing to drive everywhere. And in that circumstance, you'll end up probably having to put more deliberate effort into getting the walking done.
Okay.
And that, again, is going to be very individual, because then my earlier advice of, have specific journeys you always walk to, like to the gym, can no longer really be applied. At that point, you might find yourself saying, I'm just going to go for a walk for the sake of getting my steps in. Another thing that can be good is taking a walk first thing in the morning. Can be a good way to start your day and clear your head. Again, if the weather is warm enough, but that's a great habit to get into. Maybe not quite this time of year, because it is early January.
Yeah.
But starting in whenever it warms up where you're at some point, that might be a good thing to get in the habit of.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to do that when the weather is good, because it really does just clear your head and get you kind of relaxed and focused and ready to start the day. And a half-hour walk can get you a big chunk of the way to that goal.
True.
Probably about halfway at least. So,
okay.
And that's something you can do wherever you're at too, because it's not about getting to any kind of destination. It's more, and maybe, if you're on the road, maybe then your motivation for walking isn't to get anywhere, but maybe just explore the neighborhood, because it's new and unfamiliar to you. So maybe your why you enjoy it or why you want to do it changes, but you have a different motivation, but you have one.
Cool.
But get that pedometer. You will need that. Now that I think about it, a smartphone app probably won't do the trick.
Right. Because hopefully it's from when I get up in the morning all the way to when I go to bed.
Yeah.
As long as I get 10,000 in.
Yeah. And 10,000, it's not too hard to hit as long as you got a few different times throughout the day that you're doing a little walking.
Okay.
Where it gets hard is if you're sitting down all day. Then towards the end of the day, you're like, oh, I got to go walk for an hour. But if it's spread out throughout the day, not hard at all.
Okay.
And every little thing adds up. You might find yourself taking the stairs more, parking farther away from whatever store you're going to. But once you start thinking that way, you just start making a lot of those invisible little choices to just get a little bit more activity in. So watch for that too, because it's interesting. It can affect you in little ways you don't really expect. Yeah. But overall, these are both, very modest goals. I don't think you'll have too much trouble hitting them. And then the exercise goal is one that you can build on once it's habitual.
Okay.
And but always number one is enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just allow yourself to have some fun with it. I mean, like with your sugar thing, you didn't just quit sugar for food you didn't like. You started baking with sugar substitutes and stuff that tasted good, and
Right.
that a lot easier to motivate yourself when it's still enjoyable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just keep considering what's motivated you in the past is, having a specific event that you want to look good for and being able to enjoy your new habit. So you know what works for you. Just carry that over to these two new habits and you will do fine.
All right. Well, it's good to say it out loud.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that motivated me to take you up on this offer.
Mm-hmm.
Was I felt like I would, if I said it out loud, I would be more committed. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be seen by people. So you are so committed.
Yeah. I'm committed.
You're gonna get so much hate mail from my readers if you don't follow through.
Fair enough.